You are listening to The Art of Sales. Everyone sells every day, and this is your source for conversational, real-world sales and prospecting methods that you are comfortable using and that get results. You'll help people buy instead of pushing them into being sold. Here's your host, Art Subcheck.
Today's show is for salespeople or account managers, and it's going to be about how to avoid placing a first phone call to someone and saying, I just want to introduce myself. Save that for parties and networking events. Let me frame this here a little bit to show you where we're going. Here's where I see it happening the most. So a new or existing sales rep is assigned a bunch of accounts, and I have accounts here in quotes. The rep is preparing to call them for the first time. And again, the reason I say I have accounts in quotes is that I use this term loosely, since that can imply different degrees of familiarity with your company, ranging from none to a great relationship. Now, a couple things to keep in mind about the people on this list. You or your company might consider these people as customer, but they might not, especially if they haven't been given any attention or bought from you in a while, or having ever bought from you. And that can happen depending on how good a company's database is. I had a sales rep call me to introduce himself and said he was taking over for someone and that he saw that I was working with his previous rep. No, I had never purchased from them, and I wasn't working with the rep, and I really had to think back, and I thought maybe I had received a bad prospecting call. So then the guy just puts me back in his follow-up file, and then it's assigned to this new rep. And that was it. That's the list that he's calling from. So what you don't want to do is start out with, I just want to introduce myself. Again, save that for networking events and cocktail parties. You see, on this call, you've got just a small, minute amount of time to make an impact. And just calling up and saying you want to introduce yourself does nothing for them, especially if they're not familiar with you or the company or why you're calling. So it's almost a cold call. Your goal is to make them feel that they've gained as a direct result of talking to you. And there should be no doubt about that in their mind. And unless they had a great relationship with the previous sales rep, they don't care about your job and the fact that you're new there or that you replace someone. And then, on top of that, if there have been several reps in and out the revolving door at your company before you, each one calling this account with the same news, it would probably elicit a response like, oh, another one? Think about it. All they're really concerned about is if you can do anything for them, right? So before you place another call to this list, if you are placing these types of calls, prepare your strategy. Ask yourself this two-part question. Number one, what will they gain as a result of you being in this job, meaning that you're going to be contacting them? And then on a more micro level, how will they gain as a result of this specific call? And you want to answer from their perspective. Then you're going to have a somewhat of a basis for calling them. And then you want to fine-tune your answer, and then you want to use that in your opening. So let's look at an example here. In this case, there hasn't been much contact or sales activity with and we'll just call them a prospect, not an account, okay? So it would almost be like a new prospecting call, and we do want to treat it like a smart call. So it could go something like this, and obviously this is a made-up scenario. So, hi, Ms. Davis, I'm Dan Douglas with Ace Industrial Supply, and reason for the call is that we had the opportunity to provide your company several cases of diamond cutting blades a few months ago. Thank you for that. And if I reached you at a good time, I'd like to let you know about a special that we have on those blades and a few other things that you might have some interest in. Now, notice this opening doesn't even mention yet that the caller is now handling the account, because if they just bought from you once, they likely don't have a relationship with you, right? It's not important to them. There was not a relationship established previously. I mean, they wouldn't have known the previous rep from their last pizza delivery driver. Now, let's look at another one. Let's look at this from the perspective of a better relationship, where maybe they are a customer and they are buying fairly consistently. So, for example, hey, Tom, Gary Charles here with Twin Financial. A couple reasons for the call today. First, I want to let you know that I've taken the place of Ken Hartley, who worked with you in the past. And I want to let you know I'm going to be doing my best to provide the same service that Ken did. And then you probably have a pause here and maybe some chit-chat. And then you want to quickly get into the questioning. Now, first, I want to make sure I'm making the best recommendations for you when I call, and so that I can keep you updated on any new offers or any developments that would be of some value to you. So I'd like to ask you a few questions. All right, now let's take the cases where the account is truly a major one. And let's say there was an intimate relationship between the rep and the customer. Well, what we'd want to do then, ideally, is have the rep who is leaving or getting promoted introduce the new rep as part of his or her training. Now, granted, that would be contingent on an amicable departure of that rep. If they got canned, that obviously couldn't happen. Or at the very least, what we want to do is send an email in advance of the new rep calling, or more personally, an actual physical letter informing the customer of the change. And then the call still has to have something of value in the introduction. So again, we just want to eliminate the I want to introduce myself opening, okay? When you're on the phone, first and foremost, you're remembered most for what you can do for them. All right. So if you feel you want to create the best openings possible and on all different types of calls, including this one, I'd like to send you a copy of my free book, How to Place the Successful Sales and Prospecting Call. And it goes through my proven 7-step sales process. So if you don't have that already, you can get that at freesalesbook.com, freesalesbook.com. We ask that you just help with a small shipping charge, and that is available for U.S. addresses. International, we have an option there for you as well. Oh, speaking of customers, you know what time it is.
Your attitude will be never will, never feel what they say. It's the art of the sales quote of the day.
That's right. Time for the quote of the day. And today's quote is from Jeff Bezos. And, well, of course, you know him, the Amazon guy. And he says, "We see our customers as invited guests to a party, and we are the hosts. It's our job every day to make every important aspect of the customer experience a little bit better here today." Okay, speaking of also making somebody's day better, if you would, please let a couple other colleagues know about this show if they could benefit. Send them to our show site, which is theartofsales.com, theartofsales.com. And thank you so much for investing your time with me today. Until next time, go out and make it your best sales day ever. I'm Art Subchat.